Hey everybody, welcome to week 7 here. Wanted to touch base quickly with everyone about the assignments this week and sort of a quick overview of this section. It focuses on population and population trends and demographics and all that kind of good stuff. As you see on the screen here, I got a picture of some women in Indonesia, the world's most populous Muslim nation. But this sort of graphic and the text here will springboard you into this week's discussion board topic, which is looking at, in the United States, changing demographic and racial trends, looking out 50 years from now. And I got a research link from the Pew Research Center to help you sort of get some information on what the trends are and where they're going 50 years out from now. We're looking at demographics and the composition of populations, their gender, age, race, ethnic, religious, sort of all those qualities of a population demographically, sort of, and how they shake out and what percentage of each category is seen in that population. Racial percentages, ethnic percentages, age percentages, and more importantly, those percentages, how they change over time, what the trends are, and what the trends indicate as far as future changes to those demographic groups. So think about that and sort of consider that when you're looking at and approaching this week's discussion board question about the U.S. Looking globally at sort of demographic, balancing world demographics, you can see here in the top map that looking at the world's population, the pink shows where most people live, and you can see that most people, looking at the latitudes here, are living in United States, Mexico, North Africa, northern India through China. That's where sort of most of the world's population is living by latitude. If you look down here by sort of longitude, most of the world's population longitudinally are living in India, China, Australia, Indonesia, places like that. This sort of just shows you where the bulk of the people of the world's population are living. To bring it more home to the United States, you can see that New York by far and away is the largest sort of most densely packed portion of the United States, and on the West Coast, Los Angeles, San Francisco, places like that. But what both these sort of slides, these graphics show you is there's a trend. These are results of trends that are causing more people to leave rural areas and living in urban areas. And that is a trend that's been continuing since the Industrial Revolution in 18 whatever, up through right now. And currently, as of right now, the world's population is crossing a threshold to being 51% urban versus rural population. And all trends indicate that that will continue for the foreseeable future. And we look at demographic change as people sort of move into these urban areas. We see differences in population. We see differences in gender demographics, racial demographics, ethnic demographics, and then as those people sort of live in these urban areas, how they allocate themselves, where they live, where they choose to live, the jobs they choose to pursue, and things like that. This slide talks about gender population differences, gendering of space and place, gender roles in the economy, and pick the United States for example. But by and large, as far as gender roles, we see, for example, more females being like elementary school teachers, more males being engineers. So males and females sort of gravitate towards certain career paths as well, and we see that sort of carried out in our, in the U.S. demographics as a whole. So that sort of gives maybe some background to this week's discussion board topic. The second topic you have is for your assignment is looking at immigration patterns in globally from one country to another or within countries themselves. This week's assignment will ask you to look at research different parts of the globe and then write a fictitious but realistic firsthand account of that person's migration from their home country to the United States, or in some cases, I have one about Turks moving from Turkey to Germany. I got one about ethnic Russians in Chechnya moving to the UK. But at the end of the day, is you're trying to put yourself in that that migrants' shoes, sort of write a fictitious but realistic first-hand account of what they sort of go through as they move to a new country. And I've got links for each of the 6 scenarios. You only pick one, but I've got links to give you some background information on sort of the reasons behind those migration movements. And all sort of movements, population and immigration movements, follow some of these 7 laws here, Ravenstein's laws of migration, but these all sort of hold true, and you'll see them demonstrated in the scenarios that you look at. Most migrants move on a short distance from sort of one city to the next city. It's typically urban to urban migration. Long distance migrants move to major cities looking for jobs, opportunities, things like that. Rural people in rural areas typically are more likely to move looking for better opportunities. Women have a higher propensity than men to migrate within countries, but more men are likely to move internationally. So we see that a lot, especially around here. And then migration is driven in large portion by economic forces, those looking for better economic opportunities or better jobs, sort of a better standard of living. And the last point to keep in your mind about immigration is there are push-pull factors that are sort of pushing people out of a certain region. Maybe it's civil war, maybe it's strife, maybe it's famine, but it's pushing them out of a certain area. And there are pull factors in typically urban areas, better jobs, better schools, less crime, things like that that make them sort of destinations for migrants. And so these are the topics to keep in your mind when you approach that second week assignment, where you sort of put yourselves in the shoes of a migrant moving from one country to a new country. Most are other scenarios are looking at people outside the U.S. coming into the U.S., but some I have are sort of international, like a Turk to Germany or a Chechen Russian to the UK. Anyway, hope that helps give you guys some insight and perspective. Good luck, and I'll talk to you soon.